Okay, I'm just gonna watch like the first little bit. We'll see where you're at, and then I'm gonna start talking about things. Okay. I just like to watch the first fight, so I'm not like telling you a bunch of shit you already know. Oh, thanks for the gifted sub, Cinda.
Patched up. Smoke him out of there.
I am taking the objective. Reinforce. Heal up.
Okay. Overall, it's really not bad. You really opened this fight up. But there is definitely some things we can make better. So I'm just going to open with a lot of what I'm about to talk about is stuff that you did not get punished for in this little bit that we just saw. Totally legit. But it is absolutely stuff that's keeping you out of higher lobbies where you will get punished for it. Yeah? So, yes, everything you just did here was great in the context of this game. At least so far. Let's get you ready for, like, plat, yeah? Where are you? Oh, yeah. So you're up there, taking some shots. Let me slow this down. And here's the thing. It seems like it might seem like a small difference, but you're up here shooting these guys rather than being here. Few feet of difference, and that's it. You'd be hitting the same shots, same dynamite, all of the same things. But if one of these two gets a shot on you, like right now where you're about to die, you can get behind cover and get healed up by your supports. And actually, I would... Here, let me show you this real quick. I would look to actually hold this other corner here rather than this one. And the reason is because they have a soldier, and he can totally get the splash around this. And there's also a health pack on this side. So if you're hugging this corner and only peeking as far as you need to shoot whoever you want to shoot, then you can back all the way over here out of splash range of the rockets and also grab a health pack. But mostly it's the, you really want to be hugging cover like as tightly as you can. 28 to 44 is my average accuracy. Okay. Yeah, going to talk a little bit about how you can also be hitting some more shots here, but the positioning is the biggest thing by far. And you grab that health pack and you come back, and then here, that was nice. Lucio got the final blow, but you definitely shot her. And then here, there's good and bad about this. The bad is all of the downtime where you're just not doing anything. The good, and it seems a little bit sad to have to say this, but, like, it's true from, like, Diamond on down. You didn't forget this dude exists. He ran away, and you, like, were aware of him, and you're waiting for him. You have marked the soldier, and that's fucking excellent. That's really good. But there's ways to do that without the downtime, and that would have been to, instead of throwing that dynamite, look to rotate over to somewhere like here, where you can... If you're on this corner, yeah, the soldier can't shoot you, but you can choose to peek him if he pops out, and in the meantime, you're doing damage on point, yeah? And I'm not saying necessarily you have to get to this spot exactly, but it's more that idea of changing angles so you can watch or break LOS of the flanks you're worried about while still contributing damage, yeah? And then you could, like, peek over to this side to shoot the soldier and not have to worry about those people, and vice versa, yeah? It's this idea of... Oh, what is it called? Controlling sightlines. So, if you're standing right here, no one on the point can possibly shoot you, yeah? So you are free to turn away from them entirely and just not have to worry about anyone standing on the point, yeah? Cool. Bam. Yeah. And then here, you miss a couple of shots, and it's because you're flicking every shot. And here's the thing about flicks. There are some instances where it's your only option. You have to flick. If their movement is really good, that's it. You have to flick. But otherwise, like beyond that, it is the least reliable way to aim. It is the least number of shots you will ever hit. So having that be a hard habit of I just flick every shot is actually a really bad mechanical habit to have. And what you're looking for instead is Crosshair Discipline, which is, in this case, you want to hold... You want to just always be aiming at head height and look to only move left or right. And then you can adjust up and down the tiny little bit based on different character models because, like, everyone's head is in a different spot in this game. But whoever you're aiming at, you just put it at head height and you only aim left or right. And you also aim at head height at corners where you think people are going to peek. So when they peek, you're just already ready to take the shot. So in this case, you can see which way he's going here. And you also, there's a bit of prediction involved here, yeah? We already know because we've seen this, but like in this moment, freeze frame right here, where do you think he's going to go? Is he going to go the shorter route to cover here, or is he going to take this long-ass route away from you up here? Even a bad soldier is going to go this way almost every goddamn time, yeah? So, we put our crosshair right here, and it doesn't matter how good his AD is. As soon as he walks into it, we click on his head, and then he's dead, because, like, look how low his health is, yeah? Alternately, and this isn't, like, there's no shame in being a body shot bandit. This is just a massive target, and because he's so low and so far from cover, you can also just say fuck it and go for the body shots and just double tap him in the body, and down he goes. Yeah, there's, you want to always go for the headshots when you can, but when shots are tricky to hit, don't be ashamed of just going for the body shots because they're reliable. It's better to land a shot that does less damage than it is to not land a shot at all. Yeah? I like the coach gun to make some distance. You are like just a hair too free with your dynamites. I don't want you to hold them forever. You want to be using them as close to off cooldown as you can. They build your bob really fast. It's a really nice ability, yeah? But try to minimize the number of times you do a prediction with your dynamite. So, like, there was the one up here on the soldier you couldn't see where you thought maybe he was just chilling in here. I didn't hate that one. Like, you were wrong, but I thought it was a good idea, yeah? But, like, this one, it wasn't necessary. You can just wait until you have eyes on him, yeah? Here, you couldn't have gotten eyes on the soldier. He was just way too far away, so, like, going for it made sense. Like, it is so much value, you want to be landing it as consistently as you can, as often as you can. Which doesn't mean never do the predictions, but, like, careful with them, yeah? Cool. Good cap, though. Like, credit where it's due, you killed, like, half their team.
How y'all do?
I might speed this up a bit. Okay. Now, it didn't really come up on your attack, because your attack was kind of weird, but actually... So, let's back that up. Look at your movement here, and then ask yourself why. Like, your movement is really good. Who is looking at you? Literally no one is shooting you. No one's even looking at you. These folks can't do shit. Supports can't do shit to you. The Tracer might be able to tickle you a little bit, but you'd see her. She'd have to get really close. So it's... Wait, that was your Tracer. Sorry, the Hanzo you have to worry about, and the Soldier. Just their DPS. They're the only ones who can hurt you. So you see the Soldier. He was not looking at you. You don't see the Hanzo. He happens to be here, but, like, so long as you keep your eyes open and see if the Hanzo climbs up, you're just messing up your own aim right now. You can just be chill and just click on the dude. Oh. I do love that you took this high ground. This is
Don't
a
miss.
really nice angle. Missed the dynamite, unlucky, but whatever. This is so good, dude. Nice. Yeah, yes! Yeah! Bro, look how strong this is. This is so fucking good. They're just leaving you up here. And now it's getting a little bit weaker because you're face first. Here, let me... Okay. I want to show you some good and bad in this. Like, you're literally shooting them in the back. Like, so good. You're... Oh, I gotta stop the audio bug. Whew. You're far enough forward here that so long as the Hanzo doesn't wall climb, which he's not doing, which is just a wild, you're good. In a higher elo, he would be up here trying to kill you, so, like, you would want to be super aware of that and super careful about this, but otherwise it's great. When you turn back around over here, they're looking at you. Yeah? It will always be easier to land the shots on unaware targets, and it'll always be safer to land them on unaware targets. So as much as you can, don't shoot people that are looking at you, shoot everyone else instead. He's looking at me here, so I'm going to rotate, and I don't know, I'll pop up here. And maybe I'll kill this soldier who's just not expecting somebody to pop out here. Like, you know, you can get creative with how you rotate and how you take these angles, but honestly, it's really good. It's not coming up yet, so the thing that I think is probably happening, or might happen, because this is a common problem, is if that Hanzo were to climb up here, you would be entirely unaware because you're shooting these guys. You can say if that's true or not, but, like, just make sure you don't lose your awareness if you're going to turn your back on people like this, yeah? But otherwise, very strong. Now, that soldier wasn't looking at you, so that was, like, fine. Again, we missed the dynamite, unlucky, but whatever.
Do something!
I don't hate the bob. This is what I would call a tempo bob. You guys are kind of rolling them. The cart is moving. Like, it's just uncontested and moving. You got some people coming back from spawn, but also, like, you've killed a bunch of theirs, and this bob can really zone some people back and get some kills. In fact, it just killed the Hanzo. Dang, your bob's about to die, which is unfortunate, because I think you would have killed, like, 3 if you had lived just a little bit longer. But still, this allows you guys to keep things going and just keep the cart moving, rather than both teams stabilizing and then going in for a proper 6v6 fight. You're keeping your team's tempo going. I really like this. Yeah, I wanted to secure the cap. You want to be careful about being, like, if you were down too many people. But as it was an even fight. It was like 4v4, I think, when you hit Bob. Aw, dang. Yeah, we need to die or get out. Cool. You didn't stagger, you built some Bob. Honestly, like, you're playing very well. I'm gonna show you a thing that you're kind of doing, but I think it's mostly like you got some good instincts, and this needs to be a conscious choice, yeah? Something that you just understand, so you can do it on purpose. So, regulars to the channel will recognize what I'm doing. I mean, this map gets a little bit funky, but you still have lanes, yeah? Let me change this one. This would be more like this flank here. So almost every part of every map in this game is intentionally designed around 3 lanes. It's a super common design choice in a ton of FPS games. Some of them get a little funky and weird, like sometimes there's 2, sometimes there's 4, sometimes there's this jumbled mess and the weird high ground. Like, it gets a little funky. But for the most part, it's 3 lanes. And you're not going to see this in gold or plat games, and you'll barely see it in diamond, but it's still valuable for you. But like typically you would have, say, a main tank on the main lane, an off tank controlling one of the outer lanes, and then a DPS controlling the other. Yeah? Not necessarily these lanes, but what's good about this is the middle lane on these maps is almost always a low ground with no cover, completely surroundable by high grounds with cover. So these outer lanes, which are all those high grounds with cover, are incredibly strong, both for you to use and for the enemy to use. So if you deny it from the enemy, that's huge. You're not really playing on a flanker, you're more like a backline sort of hero, Ashe, so you would hang out more towards the back of one of these lanes, kind of still behind your team-ish, or, you know, hanging back. Like, even as your team's pushing, you're still playing backline, but you're looking to do damage from these angles, and otherwise, while you're here, just not let somebody take it, if you can. Don't die for it, but if you see Soldier coming up here and you can pressure him out and keep this for yourself and not let him have it, that's amazing. This game is all about map control, and map control is all about controlling sightlines and having multiple angles on the enemy. If everyone is on a single angle shooting the same spot, which you haven't been doing, I'm just saying, then they can shield one place. They can hide in a single direction. Like, they can shoot back in one direction, and it's just very easy for them to deal with. But if they're being shot from here and here and here and also up there and also in here, like, what does this poor Reinhardt do other than cry a little bit spinning in a circle with his shield up, yeah? So your job as a DPS, whatever DPS you play, is to not just shoot things, but to create an additional angle and control a lane. Or with some DPS, like say Kree, they have specialized jobs like protecting the back line, or like Sim and May want to hang out with a Reinhardt. Like, there's some exceptions, but for the most part, most DPS, that's what you're looking to do. Just within, like, the context of that particular DPS, yeah?
Enemy contact.
And like I said, it looked like you're basically doing all this already. I just wanted to make sure it was spelled out for you. Nice dynamite. Target priority could use a little bit of work. You lit the Mercy on fire and then immediately started shooting the soldier that he was healing. Keep killing the Mercy. Target priority actually can almost be made into a pretty simple list. That looks like a wall. So, your first target is almost always going to be 1 HP heroes. Anyone that is one shot. Like, you put a single bullet into them and they die, it does not matter who they are. Getting a kill is king. It's amazing. Next are the biggest threats. If you have somebody that you would consider a big threat. And by that I mean anyone that can one-shot a teammate or very easily kill them. Roadhog, Doomfist, Widow, Hanzo. You get the idea, yeah? So, getting a pick yourself, preventing them from getting a pick on your team so you can maintain man advantage. And then, supports, DPS, tanks. Almost always in that order. Like, actually, sorry, I did forget something very important that goes before this. Oops. Called targets. If somebody calls a target, it is, even in ranked, it is best to assume that they saw something you didn't and respond as quickly as you can to the call. even if you feel that it was a bad call, it's almost always better to just listen to it as quickly as you can and just follow it, yeah? Play together. Playing together through a bad call is often better than playing two separate games while one person follows the bad call, yeah? So if somebody calls a target and we're all focusing down the Reinhardt first, then we're all focusing down the Reinhardt first because somebody called Reinhardt, yeah? And then support, DPS, tank. Boom. So there was no one 1 HP. The threat in that case would have been the Hanzo, so you could have killed the Hanzo if you wanted. I actually probably would have gone for the support because in that context, I wouldn't have been particularly worried about this Hanzo one-shotting somebody. In the context of this game, I wouldn't call him a threat. He's just a DPS. Yeah? Now, if that Hanzo was lighting up the kill feed with the one-shots, that would be something different. You would really want to worry about whether or not he's just going to kill somebody. I suppose there's also some edge cases where even if they have a real threat, you still want to kill the supports first. Namely, if that threat is being pocketed by a support, you might not be able to kill them. And then you just kind of gotta hope for the best. Nice. Okay. There was good and bad of your movement there. Get rid of the jumps. AD movement is great, but jumping is way too predictable. Not just for hit scan, but like Hanzos. Admittedly, probably not a gold Hanzo, but plat Hanzos sometimes and DPS Hanzos all the time are going to hit that headshot. Like, as soon as you jumped, you were locked into an animation that's very predictable. And you just practice shooting people who are jumping often enough, and that flick becomes muscle memory, and it's like the most common sort of shot you're going to take, so it's just like hardwired muscle memory. Oh yeah, I jump a lot. Yeah, a lot of people do. Below plat, or like plat and below, there's a lot of jumping going on. It barely exists above that, because if you do, you're just dead off cooldown. If you watch like any like Widow popping off clip where she killed 16 people, count how many of them jumped. Usually there are one, if any, shots that were actually difficult, and almost all of them were people who were jumping.
Mercy on call.
Here it comes.
So you heard the Hanzo, but you reacted to it really slowly.
Right beside you.
Audio cues are really, really important in this game. Turn your headset up, or like if you go into options, Dolby Atmos for headphones, for some reason that's off by default. Try turning it on and see if that helps, because I mean, like, depending on the state of your headphones, the quality of your headphones, this made such an insane difference to me. Like, I found that setting while I was learning how to play Ana, and suddenly I was capable of hitting the flick sleeps, like the crazy, like, Genji's coming from over there. Not super consistently because I was bad, but it became possible because you can hear not just left and right, but above, below. All the sounds get way more clear and crisp. It's really nice. And the soundscape in this game is incredible. It feeds you so much information. Every single footstep, every single shot, almost every single ability has its own unique sound. You can just close your eyes and listen and know how, like, the state of a fight. You can tell if Hog landed his hook or whiffed it based on the sound.
Much better.
Easiest way to break the jumping habit is rebind jump to crouch.
I need healing.
Does anyone know if Ashe is somebody who should crouch spam? One of the tricky things about learning movement in this game is it's different for a lot of heroes because everyone has different hitboxes that move in different ways. So like Lucio, my original one trick, you don't want to crouch spam because it barely moves his head at all, and instead it just sort of stops his movement. But if you AD, his head moves really wildly. Tracer, I think crouch spamming is good, as I recall. I'm not sure about Ashe, not sure about Soldier. But if you go into like not third party, third person POV workshop mode, and just use that to practice your movement. See how you move. See how your head hitbox moves when you crouch. And like, try to be weird and unpredictable. So it's not just AD, AD, AD. It's like A, D, 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 A, A, D, A, A, D, 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 A, D. Like, make it weird. That was a nice dynamite. So here, so like this is what I was talking about with the lane control. You don't want to push too far ahead of your team, but you have some options from here as they're pushing in with this card. You could look to split here, but your Kree's already doing that, and this also gets you probably closer than you want to be, though you can coach gun back. You could also look to take this high ground, which I think would be incredibly strong. And there's two ways you can go about taking it. You can either, like, coach gun up to here. Nice. And anyone can jump across this gap. It's a really easy jump. It's not like one of the weird, funky ones. And then you got this spot. Or, you can take this time to sneak through this way, pop up here where they're not going to see you coming, and then either come up the stairs or coach gun up from here. I would probably come up here, but right now, yeah. And just try not to get ahead of your Reinhardt. If you're, like, parallel with him, that can be okay. But if you get too far out in front, then everyone looks at you instead of looking at him, and then you die more easily. I do take it later, I think. I just wanted to get staggers first. Yeah, so chasing those staggers is easier if you take the offense, if they're being shot from multiple directions. So I get, it's not the, like, I didn't hate that you were shooting people as you were walking in. It's more this idea of, why am I looking at your Reinhardt? Whoops. Oh, and you're up here now. Nice. The hesitation in pathing up here. Like, I would have, you kind of want to just have that already in your head as a goal. So as soon as you possibly can, you have taken an off angle and you're laying down so much more pressure. Yeah? I think you could have taken this a little bit sooner. Not like, we're talking like a few seconds here, but the hesitation is one of those things that will like punish you more and more as you climb. Because that's actually one of the biggest things that's going to change. There's two things that are going to change from here on out. Your opponents will not miss, hardly ever. If you give them the opportunity to shoot you in the face, they're going to take your head clean off. And the game is going to get faster and faster and faster. So any moments of hesitation where you probably could have just like, you know what, I should have known in advance that this would have been the plan, and I could have done this faster, try to notice those moments.
30 seconds remaining.
Nice, good count.
Complete.
Okay, and now we're on Soldier.
Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
Let's get you healed up.
We strike this one.
Now Soldier has a lot more options than Ashe, which is part of why he's kind of the, like, DPS carry hero of the moment, at least in rank. Nice. Do it, do it, do it. Woo! Nice. Yeah, just run away. You don't need to hold that. Basically, Soldier can play backline like I was talking about with Ashe, but he can also hard flank. And the trick with hard flanking with Soldier is you still play cover, but you also play distance. So you wouldn't want to pop up here on people, but if you could pop up here on them, that would be nice. Because if they turn around to deal with you, they're turning away from your team, which makes tons of space for them, takes tons of pressure off your tanks, and they can't get to you because you can just break LOS and run away. So shit like that is incredibly strong because Soldier is very fast and has range, unlike basically every other high mobility hero has to get close to do things. Soldier doesn't. And that's incredibly powerful, yeah? So abuse the fact that you can just be in their back line, but like halfway across the map, just killing their dudes. And I love... Oh my god, dude, you're playing this so well. This is not behavior I see very often in Gold. So this is what I would call an early position. It's not where you want a hard hold, but it's great for doing early damage, and it's also really great for getting a pick as they're rotating through this open space, which is exactly what you did. But it's kind of exposed. As soon as they come for you, you just leave. That Reaper wastes his teleport coming up here. This Zarya just wasted hella time coming up here, and you just leave? They get nothing for it. And then as soon as they've forgotten about you, you're right the fuck back up here doing stuff. It's called ebb and flow. And it can, like... more than just this, like, remember, you can back up to here for when the fight's on point. You can, like, come down this way, woo, wee, and, like, pop up in this hallway sort of thing. Boom. Like, there's so many options along this outer lane, and you can just be running through all of them. I will say that because you keep taking the same spot over and over again, the ebb and flow part of this was really, really good. But because it's the same spot and not a different sort of forward position, they're going to set up on you and they're going to kill you. Like, now they know to expect this, and if you give them long enough, they'll figure out how to break it, and they'll kill you. But if you keep changing things up, they never get the opportunity to make a good plan. So long as you don't screw up in your changing things up, you can do a ton and be low-key immortal while you do it. Didn't quite time the rocket, but oh well. We'll call that a zoning visor. So, I know you wanted to finish off the low HP Hanzo. Here's the thing about visor. It can only body shot. If you watch, like, top-level soldiers, they almost never pop visor because they do more damage without it in a lot of cases. Yeah? Because they can hit headshots. It's really great for, like, things you're having trouble hitting, a Lucio, a Mercy and Valk, whatever. Or, oh my god. My brain just went blank. ADHD's a dick. Oh, it has no fall off. So, I get that you can't fly up in the air here, but, like, if you were this far away, you would still be doing max damage to everyone. So you can abuse insane distances with visor because there won't be any fall off. Another reason to play distance and backline, because, like, if you were to pop up here and hit it, yeah, the Rhine can't shield his team. He can only shield himself, and doing so turns his back on your team, yeah? And then the last little bit about timing for when you hit. You've done this a bunch, but again, I'm not sure it's like a conscious decision. So, I want you to think of enemy positioning as either fortified or rotating. So fortified means they have taken up positions that they have chosen, and they're holding their ground for whatever reason. Yeah, so like, Miss Anna's positioned badly, but I would call her fortified. Like, she could be here and that would be better, but like, she's ready. She's not moving somewhere, she's ready. These guys are now rotating. They're moving from their positions around this statue to their next positions, which are probably going to be over here fighting for the point, yeah? So all this open space that they have to rotate through, that's when you kill them. That's when you pop up somewhere and hit your visor or just shoot them or whatever, yeah? Get them as they're rotating through open space and less when they are set up in positions that they've chosen. You still probably get a lot of kills when they're fortified, because fortified in gold is not very... It's not good. They're not well positioned, so you can still kill them. But that'll be less and less true the higher you climb. And even in lower elo, it will always be easier to get them while they're moving from point A to point B than while they're at point A or at point B. Yeah? If you're attacking, for example, and you can't... If you're attacking, your two options are make them rotate, which I think is underrated and incredibly strong. Oh man, thanks for the 8 months, Cabron. Yeah, it's been a while. Welcome back. So to do that, you can do things like flip the map. So if they were set up around this point, and you, or set up to hold people walking down main, yeah? They're set up over here. If you then flank all the way around and pop up this way, they have to move to defend the point, yeah? They can't stay where they were. And forcing them to move is incredibly strong in any level of ranked, even top 500, because people will fuck it up. The likelihood of 6 people moving together as a team well with no one making a mistake that you can punish is just astronomically small. So that can be really strong. If you can't make them move, then you're looking to play for map control and splitting attention. So it would still be the same sort of thing. We're popping up over here behind them to get people to turn away from our team as our team is walking into them to make space for them, yeah? And if you can get enough angles on those fortified positions, they can't hide from all the damage and they die. But that's always going to be the hardest sort of fight to take. Okay, sorry. That was a lot. Let's get back to actually watching you play. It's just, bro, I see you doing so many of the right things, and I'm just pretty convinced that it's instinct and not knowledge. And I think with knowledge, you're in plat, no problem. With knowledge and a little bit more consistent mechanics, like you could be pushing diamond easy. You look like a smart player. Nice. That was the biggest mistake you've made yet. That you kind of inted. You just don't need to get close on Soldier. Soldier, you need to play like a goddamn coward. You hit them and run away. Hit them and run away. Never... Well, I shouldn't say never. Don't stand and take a fight unless you are choosing to ego a duel because you're just like, I can win this. But then if you lose it, you gotta kind of own the fact that you fucked up, yeah? Otherwise, just don't take them. Just don't take fights with people that are looking at you and shoot everyone else instead. Oof! That was a really clean right click. That was good. It was a nice game that I just played. My Mercy told me to stop charging. Yes, and then this is better, and this is better still. And the timing on this rotation is really good, but positioning was bad. Okay, cool. Excellent. I'm really glad you did this. This is... gives us something really good to talk about here. So, the timing on this. You start pushing up at the same time your Rhine and your team are, yeah? When your front line starts pushing, these guys are going to tunnel on them, yeah? They're going to be looking here, which means they're not looking over here. Where you made the mistake was getting too close and then running through them. And if you had instead dropped off and come underneath to here and played this corner, it would have been incredibly strong, and you might have hard carried this fight. Genuinely. Yeah? I want you to get this idea of there being multiple kinds of value, and while killing somebody is almost always going to be the best value you can get, it's not the only value you can get. So if you're putting yourself in situations where whether or not you get the kills, you're at least getting some value, that you're just automatically doing better, yeah? So here, you will get value no matter what. If you whiff every single shot, they're still going to turn to look at you. This Reaper is probably going to chase you because that's what he's been doing. This Hanzo is going to try to kill you. Maybe the supports are going to turn. Like, anywhere from 2 to 4 of these 5 would turn to look at you, I guarantee it. Just based on how they've been playing. And then your team is taking a massively advantaged fight. In fairness, my mechanical aim on charging is not great. I miss most of my charges. Good ideas, bad execution. Oh no!
Helden sterben nicht.
Ooh, my neck.
Огонь по готовности.
Okay. Just run. Yeah. The fight was over. So, while you being up here and trying to get an exit pick while building the last of your ult, A+. Especially the part where afterwards you turned and left. But you didn't get the exit pick. Unlucky, but whatever. Like, sometimes you'll get those, sometimes you won't. Doesn't really matter. What matters is you do not die. You just cannot stagger. That is about the worst thing you can possibly do in this game, is die last or die late or die first. Don't be either of those guys, yeah? So this, as soon as his Reaper TP'd, we're just out. We don't want to take a fight right now. We don't want to run the risk of the Reaper getting help, whether or not you could duel him. And also, we don't really want to stop here. Run all the way back to spawn. You're regrouping with these people anyway. And like I said, if some asshole chases you down and you die just after your team is respawned, your team loses out on like an entire fight. It's massively bad, yeah? So, a whole lot of good there, but the hesitation, oh, you did. Oh no! Once you made it around that corner, you just stay there. Oof. Okay, and then here, this is what I like to call running it down. We just sort of ran in and died. Unlucky. I think you wanted to pop up here for your visor. The problem is, well, I mean, even before your team died, they were all like back over here, which means you popping up this close behind is terrifying. Yeah, you don't have any space to stand in here. So you either have to be so far away they can't hit you, or you need to be in space your team controls. I like the thought process, but the timing was bad. Yeah?
The payload has reached the checkpoint.
Like, the thought of, I'm going to go take this hard off
Mission ain't
angle
over yet.
Brought one back.
to try to carry this fight.
Saddle up.
That was a good thought. It really was. Okay, and here I want you to think about the damage that you do. Because you already have ult, so any damage you do to the enemy that doesn't result in a kill just feeds their support's ult charge, yeah? Which isn't to say don't shoot. Like, there's something to be said for the pressure you can output just by shooting them as they're trying to walk in, yeah? Even if their supports are healing it all up, they're using cooldowns, shields are breaking, they have to walk slower. So, like, yeah. But if you're just going to throw out a random right click and run away, that's not going to do anything. It's not going to kill anyone. It's not going to slow them down either. You just fed 120 HP worth of ult charge to a support. Yeah. If you don't have ult, any damage you do is worth. Always. Because you're building your ultimate, at the very least. But if you do have ult, the math changes a little bit. Still usually better to shoot them, but... And now here, we've stayed too long.
I've got you in my sights.
And this is... Okay, yeah. So this spot is so strong, and it was so good. But now the enemy is pushing in, and our team is backing up. So, ebb and flow, it is time for us to ebb, my friend. So we can either run off this way, or we could jump across and run over here. And this is probably what I would do. I would come over here, and I would look to run out here. Yeah. So, run out here, and then as the enemy team pushes around this corner into ours, we wrap around behind them, and we back up to this corner, and we pop our ult. So we have a corner to hide behind, but now they have to turn away from our team to deal with us, yeah? Ryan's in front, he can't shield the people in the back, and if he tries, he dies to your team. It puts them in this incredibly awkward, untenable position, but only if you're A, on a different angle, and B, they can't get to you to punish you for it, yeah? And then this becomes just insanely strong. I like this. Yeah. The other thing to note, I usually don't like talking about people's mechanics too much. I tend to focus more on the brain aspects of gaming than the actually landing your shots part. But, you're off fire now. Your positioning is already plat. Easily plat already. But your aim is a little bit not. Your aim is gold. And that's kind of the thing holding you back. All this other stuff that I'm talking about, it can all be better, and it'll all help, and it might climb you to plat by itself with your existing mechanics. But all of these good things you're doing, they just become more effective if you land more shots. And I mean, that sucks to hear, but you're playing really smart already. I will say this, though. There's this misconception with how much mechanics matter in this game, and they do matter. And they do matter a lot, but the level of mechanics does not need to be nearly as high as people think it is. You don't have to be a god. You don't have to be insanely cracked out. You don't have to be superhuman. You have to be as good as somebody who actually practices their aim. As good as somebody who actually plays the game while thinking about their aim, yeah? Because if you're thinking about your aim while you're playing, your aim will improve. Full stop. And the more you play, the better it'll get. You can do aim trainers if you want, or you can just keep playing whatever. But think about your aim while you're doing it, and it'll get better. I don't think you need to be doing 6 hours of Kovacs a day or bullshit like that. It doesn't matter that much. You just have to be consistent, yeah?